October 2025 is going to be hot. Ahead of us are 20 games, each one ready to surprise, shock, and keep you hooked for hours. Let's take a look at what's coming. The wilds of Izo cradle Mount Yotei beneath a sky that never forgets. Here walks Atsu, a mercenary shaped by ash and memory. As a child, she was left for dead, pinned to a burning ginkgo tree with her father's katana after the Yotei 6, and their lord Saito slaughtered her family. 16 years harden into steel. She returns to hunt each of the 6 in any order, following tracks through snow-choked forests, bandit-struck villages, and shrines where the wind only whispers of justice. The farther she goes, the deeper the roots of the conspiracy coil, drawing out unlikely allies and truths about who she really is. Rumors race ahead of her like winter crows. People say she is no longer flesh but Onryo, a specter of vengeance. Near-future streets glow with rain and surveillance while an AI regime called Tensor draws borders around every breath. Redline moves against it, a rebellious street artist who paints protest where drones cannot see and who carries a sentient combat implant that calls itself Spine. The implant tunes reflexes into choreography and turns firefights into dangerous art. Yet none of it matters without the reason that burns beneath everything. Her brother is missing inside Tensor's labyrinth. To find him, she slips through neon back alleys and corporate vaults, facing enemies augmented by code and ambition, and factions that swap ideals for power whenever the price is right. The fight is kinetic and personal, but the story leans in on sharper edges. Where does autonomy end when technology speaks back? The city starts at the ocean and climbs until the clouds swallow its highest lights. Nivalis is beautiful because it is broken. Elevators shudder, whole districts feel one storm away from slipping into the sea, and a fine from the wrong corporation can cost more than a month of rent. Gangs would harvest your organs if they thought your ID would fetch an extra drink. Into this tender chaos, you arrive with small dreams and a cheap lease. A noodle stall, a stim counter, a tiny bar with a flickering sign. Day by day, those doors become more doors. Restaurants bloom from kiosks. Nightclubs glow where there used to be crates. A single stall becomes a slice of the city's nightlife as upgrades stack, menus widen, and regulars become faces you would miss if they stopped showing up. Life here is not only profit and purchase. A distress call threads through dark space and pulls Zula Hendrix to Perdan, a world with a Wayland-Yutani black site sunk into its crust like a secret scar. The facility is a graveyard that moves. Xenomorphs own the corridors. Doors cough open to rooms staged for experiments that should never have been imagined. Zula is not entirely alone. Davis, an android companion with steady hands and unreadable thoughts, watches her back as alarms stutter and the reactor hum takes on a nervous pitch. Trust is a rare commodity this far from anyone's jurisdiction. Carver, a name that should bring comfort, carries shadows in every pause. The deeper Zula goes, the more the truth turns serrated, and survival becomes a ritual of motion, sound, and silence. At one terrible turn, a facehugger claims her future, and the story digs into the body horror and corporate calculus that define this universe.
We still have a chance to survive.
children named Lo and Alone wake inside a place that should not exist. The nowhere folds itself into the spiral, a chain of realms stitched from discarded dreams. Carnival is an abandoned fairground where the rides still creak for no one. Factories cough smoke into rooms full of broken toys. Necropolis sleeps under dust while something larger than a city crawls just out of sight. Lo carries a bow and careful patience. Alone wields a wrench and the stubborn courage to break what must be broken. Together they solve the kind of puzzles that ask you to be quiet, quick, and clever, slipping past residents who were once people and are now something else, herds that swarm with chaotic intent, and creatures like the monster baby who redefine the word threat with every shuddering step. The year is 2027, a world unbalanced, where the pillars of NATO crack and private armies rise to fill the void. In this fragile order, one force dominates the headlines: Pax Armada, a military company with enough firepower to stand against nations. You join Dagger 13, an elite unit dropped into conflict zones where alliances mean little and enemies wear many masks. The campaign blends politics with firestorms, dropping you into battles that rewrite maps and test loyalty as much as skill. Yet the single player is only the opening move. Multiplayer roars back with Battlefield's signature chaos. Vast arenas, tanks carving through buildings, jets streaking overhead, and the iconic classes: Assault, Engineer, Support, Recon, returning to give squads purpose and identity. A bird lands on the edge of a lighthouse, but nothing about this world is ordinary. The lighthouse itself walks, a colossal sentinel of stone and steel that creaks across surreal landscapes painted by a dreamer's fever. This is Keeper, a wordless adventure from Double Fine, where mood and imagery tell stories no dialogue ever could. Together, Bird and Lighthouse wander through realms that fold like Salvador Dali's canvases, places where sky might liquefy, horizons breathe, and puzzles whisper answers only when approached with patience. There is no combat, no violence, just exploration that feels both unsettling and enchanting. You shift gears between awe and unease, solving environmental puzzles that twist perception and carrying on when logic seems to blur. Snowy mountains, a boy chases a flying pig, and from that chase, the world cracks open. KAKU, young and unprepared, tumbles into an ancient prophecy tied to the Creator's saga, a being who once held balance through 4 elemental souls. That balance is gone, shattered by an otherworldly corruption. Now 4 realms rot beneath the claws of elemental lords twisted from their purpose. Guided by fate and accompanied by Piggy, the unlikely winged companion, KAKU must journey into each land. Biomes as vast as deserts, ruins, volcanic plains, and frozen peaks, to reclaim the scattered souls and face the corrupted lords who guard them. The game does not stretch into a seamless open world, but instead carves large open regions brimming with puzzles, ruins, towers for travel, and secrets tucked behind every obstacle. Across the tarmac, and with NASCAR 25, the sport finally takes the digital stage with the polish and intensity it deserves. Built by iRacing Studios with Unreal Engine, this is not just another racer. It is a simulation that puts you inside the culture of American stock car racing. Career mode is the heart of it, starting you at the humble ARCA series where the garage smells of oil and ambition. From there, victories earn upgrades, sponsors, and the right to climb into bigger machines across the truck series, Xfinity, and finally the Cup Series, where legends are made. Nearly 190 licensed drivers take their marks across dozens of real-world tracks. Super speedways where speed feels infinite, short tracks where grit wins races, and road courses that punish the slightest mistake.
Make sure you follow us on social media at NASCAR25Game.
Seattle sleeps under snow and silence, but the city hides a storm. You awaken as fire, an elder vampire marked with a brand in your blood that shackles your power. You are not alone inside your own mind. Fabien, a Malkavian detective, shares your thoughts, his voice pulling you into his memories and his fractured perceptions. Sometimes you walk his streets, drenched in the noir of 1920s Seattle, searching for answers in smoke-filled alleys and whispers of old crimes. The present city is no less dangerous. The Masquerade teeters, vampire clans claw at each other for dominance, and human hunters stalk shadows with rifles and faith. Every choice bends the night. Who you ally with, which faction you betray, how much humanity you let survive inside a predator's body.
Find your own place to pitch your tent. Open your mouth again, and I shall reach in and take your tongue. Worthless pile done. I have slain my share of fellow men. I have no issue doing it again.
Tokyo trembles under neon light and ancient shadow. The Dark Dragon, long thought banished to myth, surges back into a city already drowning in chaos. This is where Ninja Gaiden 4 begins. Ryu Hayabusa still sharpens his blade, but a new warrior steps into the blood-soaked path, Yakumo of the Raven Clan. His destiny intertwines with Ryu's, their fates knotted by the return of an evil that refuses to stay buried. Yakumo fights with fresh, terrifying styles, the Blood Raven form, a power that twists his own lifeblood into a weapon, and techniques that stretch reach and speed to inhuman levels. The Tokyo you explore is not the one of today. It is a cyberpunk nightmare, a metropolis consumed by demons, monsters, and invaders from realms beyond.
Slay the Dark Dragon. Prove it.
The very fiend that resurrected the Dark Dragon years ago. Even a mortal such as yourself has heard of me? I'm sure. Die, insect!
Purgatory yawns open and swallows the condemned. Here, among broken skies and screaming earth, you rise as one of the champions, a sinner offered one final chance at redemption. Azazel, a fallen angel, prepares to loose his demonic legions on Earth, and only your defiance stands between his armies and the apocalypse. The voice of the Creator calls you to war, and every corridor, every desolate plain becomes a battlefield. Painkiller returns as a furious first-person shooter, fast-paced and relentless, a symphony of gunfire and survival. You carve through grotesque monsters, Nephilim born from Azazel's corruption, wielding weapons both new and classic. Tarot cards twist fate in your favor, while gadgets like hooks and dashes give battles speed and style. Caroline Walker survived Wildberger Hospital, but the scars never healed. Now she clings to life with her sister Anna, only to see Anna haunted by visions so violent that her drawings claw their way into reality. The path to salvation leads to Villa Hess, a remote Chilean town high in the mountains, where a clinic hides secrets behind serene walls. Caroline soon learns the town beats with a cult's heart, where alternate realities bleed into each other and nightmares spill freely into daylight. Tormented Souls 2 sharpens its horror with a new power. Caroline can shift between realities, even alter the past to reshape the present. Every choice in those dimensions carries weight, bending fate and tightening dread. The parks are gone, but the dinosaurs remain. After Dominion, the world breathes a new truth. Humans and dinosaurs must coexist, whether in harmony or chaos. You join the Dinosaur Integration Network, an organization tasked with weaving order from this living storm. Your work stretches across the globe, Japan, Hawaii, and beyond, as you build parks and sanctuaries where dinosaurs and people can find balance. Yet balance is fragile. Guest satisfaction, safety protocols, predator instincts, and ecosystem demands constantly threaten collapse. For the first time, dinosaurs live entire life cycles. Hatchlings grow into adults, families form dynasties, and bloodlines carry on through generations. Each enclosure becomes not just a habitat, but a lineage, alive with story.
But I am sure that you'll take them all in your stride. And I have no doubt that your global efforts will be a success. Be sure to watch the rest of our modules for further training on managing your parts.
Arcadia, a colony severed from Earth by warp rifts, lost in the cold theater of space. You arrive as an agent of the Earth Directorate, sent to investigate the anomaly, only to find a world already split by factional greed. The Protectorate rules with iron command, Auntie's Choice sells life itself in neat corporate packages, and other groups stalk the shadows, each claiming Arcadia's future as their own. Your decisions carve the story. Alliances formed in blood, betrayals that ripple across settlements, companions who may follow or abandon you depending on your path. Even your flaws matter here, weaknesses shaping how the colony perceives you and how you navigate its dangers. The warp rifts are only the beginning of the mystery. Beneath Arcadia's fractured politics lies a truth that could unravel not just the colony but the wider galaxy.
Someday perhaps I'll own two. For now I'll take one that's brand new. 'Cause I'm yearning and burning for you.
The surface of Earth is no longer ours. Machines known only as ARC roam the wastelands, merciless and unyielding, while humanity hides deep underground in the city of Speranza. But not everyone stays hidden. Some choose to rise, to face the storm above. They are the Raiders. You step into their boots, scavenging the ruins, fighting both ARC machines and rival raiders, gathering resources that mean survival for your people. Every mission is a gamble. Go out, fight, loot, and then try to make it back alive. Fail, and everything you carried is lost. Success means new gear, stronger weapons, and another chance to challenge the mechanical titans that rule the land. ARC Raiders is a third-person extraction shooter where risk and reward lock horns every match. Solo, duo, or trio, you decide how to enter the surface. Step into a medieval fantasy where the world is not scripted for you. It is built by you. Pax Dei is a vast social sandbox MMO, a realm without quest givers, without pre-written paths, where the story is born from what players create together. You begin with nothing more than land to claim and tools to craft. From there, everything grows. Houses rise from the ground, villages expand into towns, and the economy spins from player to player as armor, weapons, and goods change hands. Exploration is constant. Ruins whisper old lore. Mysteries lie in forests, and danger breathes from the shadows. Cooperation fuels survival, but competition sharpens it. What you build is yours, but it stands in a living world where neighbors, allies, and rivals shape the land beside you.
Its treasures call out to be discovered. This world.
Imagine an open world stretching 400 square kilometers, and it is yours to bend, break, and rebuild. Wreckreation is less about racing a track and more about creating the track itself. Mixworld is your canvas, a place to lay down roads, twist loops into the sky, build stunt ramps that defy gravity, and scatter obstacles where chaos can thrive. Then you drive it, test it, and crash it in glorious spectacle. Vehicles are yours to customize, paint, and smash, while the world remains wide open, begging for experimentation. You can race alone, compete with friends, or simply unleash destruction for the thrill of it. Developed by Three Fields Entertainment and published by THQ Nordic, Wreckreation is a sandbox where speed, creativity, and wreckage fuse together. Here, racing is not a sprint, it is survival. Endurance Motorsport Series blends the precision of simulation with the strategy of management, putting you behind the wheel and in charge of the team. You race legendary tracks with real-world prototypes and sports cars, but it is not just about speed. Weather shifts, engines strain, pit crews scramble, and every decision, fuel load, tire choice, timing, becomes the difference between triumph and ruin. You balance the long game, consistency against aggression, knowing that endurance is as much about mind as machine. Beyond driving, you manage the team itself, engineering upgrades, calling strategy, and guiding your squad through the grueling world of endurance racing. The lawn is green, the sun is shining, and the dead are coming. Plants vs. Zombies returns in Replanted, a full HD remaster of the 2009 classic that started it all. Crazy Dave is still at your side, spouting nonsense and warnings, but the threat is real. Waves of zombies march for your home, and only your garden stands in their way. Sunflowers fuel your defense, pea shooters fire endless streams, walnuts hold the line, and new challenges twist the familiar rhythm. Beyond the polished visuals, Replanted adds fresh game modes. Local co-op lets you fight side by side. PvP pits players against each other in lawn warfare, while modes like Cloudy Day limit your sunlight, and Rest in Peace offers permadeath tension.
Blabby blabby.